Welcome to By Subject. I'm your host, Peter Stevenson. I'm here with my co-host, Alicia Smith, creative and managing director of agency and Modern8. And our guest today is Sindee Savage, director of community at V-School and COO at Neon Rodeo. Welcome.
Hey, thanks you guys. Yeah. What a pleasure.
I know. I'm so excited. First off, you're like my favorite person to see at our co-working studio.
Oh my gosh.
Every time I see you, I get a chance to like come over and like give you a hug, and you have the best energy.
Best energy, totally.
Thank you.
Anyone gets the chance to hang out with you.
And a
good
badass
energy.
theme. Oh,
Yeah.
bad.
A
Cool
bad
name.
bleep name.
So first, I'd love for people to kind of get to know your story, your background, where you grew up, what got you into the role that you're doing now, that director of community role. Tell us a little bit about, where you grew up and where you went to high school, what you went to college for, what you had to do when you became a big kid.
All right. So all of the good things about my life and where I'm at right now. Okay. I was adopted when I was 4 months old from Seoul, Korea. And so I was adopted into a fantastic family here locally in South Jordan, Utah. So I've grown up here, traveled a lot, tried to, just experience life outside of the Utah bubble. And I went to school here. I went to the University of Utah, graduated in broadcast journalism. And
what made you want to do broadcast journalism?
oh my gosh, you guys. Remember MTV?
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day when they'd actually play music videos?
Yeah, okay.
I wanted to be an aspiring VJ.
You did?
I wanted to move to New York, and I wanted to be a VJ on MTV.
Did you get any opportunity to do that?
Oh,
Did you
no.
pursue that at all?
No. I mean, I did the broadcast journalism thing
Okay.
and went through, the program. And shortly after graduation, I had my daughter. And so back then, I'm not sure what it's like now, but moving to a remote, smaller city to get your start as a reporter was kind of just, what you did unless you had a solid internship here, which I didn't. And at that time, I just wasn't able to just pick up and, move, and all my support was here. So, nope, I did not continue
Not
on.
you.
I wasn't a VJ.
That's so tragic. You didn't
I
go
know.
on Real World. You didn't do any of the MTV stuff.
No.
Oh, man.
I mean, I still could maybe.
Yeah.
Or
Who knows?
Channel 1?
Sure. Yes. There you go.
Yeah.
Channel 1. Yeah.
With Lisa Ling.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. All right. So you got into broadcast journalism, and so you graduated with a broadcast journalism degree, but you weren't going to go do that. You had a child. Did you enter the workforce right away?
I did. Yeah. Right after graduation, I landed a job at ARUP Laboratories up in Research Park. And I started out in project management and then moved my way into the marketing department.
Okay.
So I was at ARUP for about 10 years.
What
So,
and
big chunk of.
Yeah.
And so what were you doing for the marketing? You went from project management to marketing. What were you doing over there?
Oh my gosh, I wore a lot of hats there.
Okay.
It was so much fun. I think that's the place where I got the experience and exposure of what marketing is. I'm not a true marketer in the sense, but I do love to tell stories, and I love either verbally or through pictures or just anything of explaining things and showcasing stuff. So I was able to move up into their marketing department. So I helped implement like their internal communications with, at the time, digital signage was huge. And so they had so many different remote locations, different hospitals. So I helped implement that. And then internal communications, PR. I did tours of the laboratories. I don't know if you guys are familiar with ARUP at all.
I actually know very little about them. I was curious what kind of marketing they were doing, externally, but probably mostly I'm not their target audience, so that's why I know nothing about them.
Yeah, which makes sense. They, when I first started there, they have the business side, but they have the laboratory side. And it's interesting because some of the lab folks didn't realize there was a business side. Some of the business side didn't realize there's a lab. But anything that comes out of your body and needs to be tested, you can ship it off to ARUP or another place like ARUP where they do all of the testing. So there's a huge market with pathologists and just the medical field, the medical industry. They're a big operation.
And so what made you think, oh, I'm going to move from project management, I want to go over to marketing? What made you interested in that role?
I think I had the exposure of working on different projects within the company in different departments and being able to see the needs of certain things because project management was it wasn't new, but it was new. They were expanding and they had a team of 3, 2 or 3. But I was able to have exposure in different medical departments or fields.
Yeah.
And in the projects, it would touch marketing. So if there was a trade show or if they needed marketing material or, communicating internally what all of the departments do for each other. And so it just started to lean more into the marketing roles through project management by having exposure to the marketing team. And so,
I mean, journalism and marketing, they're not, they're related a bit.
mm-hmm.
So do you think that going into the role of account manager, do you think that maybe you could have seen is that something that you wanted to kind of get to eventually, was marketing, or was that kind of just a surprise?
I think it was a surprise, but it felt natural to me.
Yeah.
So with broadcast journalism, telling a story, putting videos together, editing, meeting people, creating, relationships is just a natural thing for myself. And in projects and being able to chat with decision makers and executive teams and team members, and relating, putting it all together. Like I've also realized through my career and multiple careers, like what my strengths are. And that's really one-on-one connections. And someone can give me an idea or a project and I know how to streamline it. I know who needs to be involved. I can cut out all of the scrap that doesn't need to be there to make it efficient, quicker, better. And so for me, project management and marketing, and communication, journalism stuff, all of that, it's all one package in my mind.
I believe the same. I mean, I graduated in communications and now I'm like in the marketing world. And so to me, they really are very related.
Yeah.
Overlap a lot.
I agree. Yeah.
So you are there. What kind of things were you doing? You were there for how long? 10
close
years,
to
you
10
said?
years. Yeah.
So what did your role grow into there?
At the end of the day, it really grew into trade shows.
Okay.
And events.
Okay.
And so putting on multiple trade shows throughout the year, down to all the logistics, the planning, the messaging, working with the graphics team on what the booth looks like, building out the booth, working with vendors, like every single detail that had to make the show happen.
Did you
That's
love
what
it?
I did. Yes. Yeah.
What
I really loved it.
what about going to events and being part of that community, in trade shows? What did you love about it?
Just the everyday's different.
Okay.
You do have a main goal. I love working with a deadline because then it forces you to get to the finish line. And then there's a sense of accomplishment afterwards.
Yeah.
Pulling off a 20 by 20 or a 40 by 40 footprint and watching that build and knowing all of the pieces that you had part of in that is really cool. And then just co-collaboration, different departments overlap with functions and just, I don't know, meeting people and creating relationships, not only for the event, but then continuing on.
Yeah.
Did you have early champions as you moved from project management to marketing who were, helped guide you in that career and helped you, become the marketer, the event, planner that you were?
Yeah, I think so, for sure. Looking back at all of the places that I've worked, I can pick out people who see your talents and they see you, and then they help you get to where you want to go.
Yeah.
Or they're your advocate where you may not even know that they recognize or see who you are.
Yeah.
So I was fortunate to have, a couple of people in the marketing team, specifically when I was at ARUP, see like, oh my gosh, she's got a knack for that, or she's really good at that. Like she would be a great asset to our marketing team.
Were they finding things that you didn't know about yourself? Were they able to identify, skills and traits that you didn't know you had because they were outside you, and then they helped to flourish them?
Yes, and then also flipping that, where I know I have certain abilities that could actually enhance their project, their department, their team.
And sharing that with
sharing
them.
it. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What was, it's not a question that I've asked a lot of other people, but what was working as a young mother like in that time period? Were they really flexible? Were they easy to work with as a company?
Oh my gosh. Yes. ARUP was one of the first companies to bring on-site daycare.
Oh my
amazing.
So they built that out while I was there, and I took full advantage of it.
Yeah.
And so by that time, Kendall was preschool age, so she could come to work with me every day
Oh my goodness.
until kindergarten. And so it was right there on site. It was
Wow.
fantastic.
That's
That's
amazing.
amazing.
And it's probably so beneficial to have an employer who recognizes the value of that for you, and got so many more years from you probably from that
Right.
loyalty that you
Yeah.
have, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you left ARUP and you were in this marketing track. Where'd you go next?
Yeah, so I kind of outgrew my position there. So I also stayed in healthcare after that for another couple years, and I moved over to CHG Healthcare. So I entered in their marketing department and their brand team and worked with the allied
Okay.
team. So that's physician, PAs, and nurse practitioners, NPs, just different
Yeah.
titles within healthcare. Shortly after that, I was brought onto their event team or their
Okay.
trade shows. So that's really a strong background that I have.
Did you feel a strong passion for healthcare, or was it just kind of the next step? You knew it. Was there a point where you thought, I want to move on from that? Or was it kind of like, oh, I think I want to do this for the rest of my career?
I think it was what I knew because
Mhm.
being at ARUP for 10 years and then looking for something else, CHG was different, but it was still under the umbrella of healthcare. So I
Yeah.
was familiar with it.
Yeah.
And going into the interview and being able to, talk the same and understand just kind of how it works, I think was helpful. I didn't necessarily want to be or stay in healthcare.
Yeah.
That's just how the stars aligned.
Okay.
What do you think made you, thinking about those traits that some of your advisors saw, what do you think made you such a good, trade show or event marketer, in those early years and as you grew in that role? What made you and skills did you bring to the table that helped make you so successful?
That's a good question. I think, you could say detail oriented and super organized and all
Yeah.
of that, but relationships and
Yeah.
being able to communicate with several different types of industries,
Yeah.
several different types of levels
Yeah.
of, decision makers or peers,
Yeah.
and being able to get the point across, really, I don't know, that was helpful, or that is helpful.
Yeah.
I'm able to do that, kind of put myself in any scenario and feel comfortable. And hopefully people are feeling the same and
Yeah.
comfortable back. And so it's a equal exchange.
That warmness that you bring to every conversation that we talked about at the start of
Yeah.
this is probably part of that, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
have any big learnings while you were kind of going through this, this
Oh
trade
my gosh.
show
Yeah.
specialization or expertise?
Yeah, not specifically to the trade, but I think just in life and creating balance with personal and work
Mm.
and personal growth. Like looking back at it in that part of my life, it's like we're just getting through the day.
Yeah.
I still feel like that now. We're just getting through the day, but I'm more mindful now in the present. From back then, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think just, I don't know, and being a hard worker. I don't
Yeah.
know if that's still a thing anymore. I'm sorry,
I-
young folks. I'm really sorry. But just, yeah, being thorough and hard and dedicated
Yeah.
and passionate. I mean, I know that that's out there. I know people are
Yeah.
that way, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, okay, so you're there at CHG, and what's the next role for you?
So after CHG, I went to large scale events.
Okay.
So
Mm.
international events at a
Oh.
company called ITN.
Okay.
They're no longer, they were bought out, but that was a really, really cool job where I literally got to travel around the world. I had a portfolio of clients and I would execute all of the events, major events that they had throughout the year.
Hmm.
So I was able to travel everywhere, which was
Wow, that sounds
amazing.
fun and maybe hard.
Yeah. How did you bring your child with you? Did you how did that work?
No, that was tough.
Yeah.
She was in high school, middle
Okay.
school, high school at that point. So she
Okay.
was
She didn't want to spend time with you anyway.
I don't know. I'm a pretty cool mom.
You are cool.
She
Yeah.
would probably want to come
Yeah.
hang out. She actually requested to come, but it was just hard.
Yeah.
You're working
Yeah.
Right.
18-hour days, like you
Right.
are just literally on all the time. So to bring a child or family is hard
Sure.
unless you stay behind
Yeah.
and, make a vacation out of it.
So tell me about what you were doing for these events across the world.
Yeah, maybe tell us about one of them
Yeah,
specifically.
yeah.
Is there one that stands out?
Yeah. One of my clients, man, there were so many different. So are you guys familiar with, oh goodness, I just spaced their name. They're an MLM, but they had shows in Vegas and all these places,
Okay.
but it was like skincare.
Okay.
Mhm.
So to produce that and to go, so I was in charge of all of the registration and all of the attendees
Okay.
and all of the sessions and lead retrievals and gathering
wow.
everything. So full spectrum. But that show in particular was just insane
In Vegas.
in Vegas, or this particular company, MLM Skincare.
So how many people were there? Like, why was it insane?
So they have conferences each year. It's kind
Yeah.
of, it would be similar to like a Young Living
Sure.
or something like that, where they have the annual conference
Sure.
and they're launching all of their new products
Yeah.
and courses and
Mhm.
classes and the distribution, but all the women that come to the event. So that show is probably 120,000
Oh my
person
goodness.
show. So I'm in charge of all of registration
Oh,
and
that's
everything.
a lot.
It's just a spectacle.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen women act the way that they act at these shows. Like, because they're releasing new products, they have lines out the door. There's just
Yeah.
it's insane.
What made you successful at that job? How did you get through 120,000 people in registration? How did you accomplish that in a somewhat not rowdy way?
Having a really solid team,
Yeah.
having people that just understand their lanes of what you need to do, because there's so many different places and things that you have to be in charge of. So a solid team, having a great plan beforehand. So many meetings, just really dialing in how it's going to work in the flow.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Can you plan for all the contingencies?
no, but you try.
Yeah.
I think one show we probably had everything go wrong. Like the internet went down, like power went out, registration
Oh my goodness.
booths were just not working, and it's like the first day of the show.
Yeah.
So being able to think on your feet,
Yeah.
to know who to contact and just keep calm. You
Yeah.
have to keep calm
Amazing.
when you're dying inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're just like, please, let's just go home. But you can't.
Oh my.
No.
Okay. So you jump from doing these events, and at some point you find yourself at Kiln,
Yes. Yep.
direct your community there. So tell
Yep.
me about why Kiln, what intrigued you about that idea of going to a co-working space and doing not an event role?
Yes. So COVID happened.
Okay.
So I was at a show and literally in Atlanta, Georgia, at a pet show
Okay.
Mm.
where they bring all their pets in, and it's called Pet Zoo. Anyway, they shut the show down early. The governor had come across and said, hey, COVID is rampant. So I was out of work for a little bit and came across Kiln and reached out. They had, I think actually one of my friends worked there. She was a member. And the staff had said, hey, we're looking for someone to help with programming, if you know anybody. So it was a referral.
Yeah.
And I called them up, chatted with, their team, and kind of went through the whole hiring process and was hired on probably the beginning of 2021
Okay.
to run their programs and events. So I was over all of the kilns. So at that time, there was 5 locations.
There were 5.
Yeah, so 2 Lehighs, Salt Lake. We were just finishing or starting Park City,
Okay.
wrapping up Boulder,
Okay.
Colorado. And so my plan was to just help all of the member experience, making sure that it's all under the same brand in each of the locations.
Mm.
And then that just kind of flourished into larger events.
Right.
So creating the founders and funders up in
Yeah.
Eden,
Right.
I helped start that, which was
Oh.
amazing.
What was the impetus of starting that? I know that's become a pretty popular event. We had someone on here a couple of weeks ago who started the Utah Beer Festival. So
Oh,
it was
cool.
fun to talk about that
Yeah.
start. I'd love to hear a little bit from you about what was the impetus to start it. What were some of the challenges of starting that event?
It's Arian,
Yeah.
our CEO. It was his idea to create space for founders specifically and funders for them to have a gathering
Yeah.
and to share ideas, to bring all the like minds together,
Mm-hmm.
talk about what's happening, what the future is, all of the things.
Yeah.
And with him and his network, we were able to, secure in the Eden location, which
Yeah.
is absolutely
I
beautiful.
love Eden, yeah.
And I think they've been doing it for four or five, maybe
Yeah. That's
years. It's
about
an
right.
annual thing.
Yeah.
But curating that with the guests and then, the topics and who's going to be there and the messaging. And yeah, it was really fun.
So
It was
did that
cool.
launch during COVID then?
Nope, it was after.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, that sounds difficult.
And so,
Yeah.
and so, what were some of the challenges, from that first year to the second year that you learned from the first year that made the second year better?
I think since it was the first time ever doing that, you're always going to run into lots of learnings,
Sure.
lots of
Mhm.
lessons learned. You can go in with a game plan and an
Right.
expectation. I think I'm trying to remember back in the day what were some of the challenges. It was hard because we wanted to keep it small and intimate, but everybody wanted to be a part of it.
Right.
And so how do you say, you can't say no, but you have to say no.
Right.
Mhm.
And I know that that's probably something, a challenge continuing on to today, because it's
Yeah.
something that they want to just keep, intimate, small, but they have created something really, really neat and
Right.
special. So people want to be a part of it. Coming up with new and really exciting and unique experiences for the
Yeah.
guests and for the attendees.
Mhm.
Utah is amazing, but it's its own bubble in the sense of bringing in new ideas and having the fear, is someone going to like that? Or is this too off cuff?
Yeah.
Or is this not, in the vein of what we're trying to do? So being creative in launching activations or events or activities during an event, it's fun, but it's challenging at the same time.
Second guessing yourself, I bet a
Mhm.
lot. Yeah.
So at some point, V School reaches out. What was the
They did.
reason that they approached you? What was the reason you jumped over to V School?
It all happened at the Founder Funder event.
Oh,
Okay.
really?
It comes full circle. It's
Okay.
pretty crazy, but amazing. We had invited V School to attend, and Mo Reeder, he and I actually went to high school
Oh,
together.
funny.
And so we have a long history and friendship, but we had, grown up, and he and his family had moved away and he had a job. He came back and I didn't realize that he worked at V School,
Mhm.
his COO.
Yeah.
And I hadn't heard of it before, but they were on the list. And so they had showed up, and it was just this awesome reunion with Mo. And he's like, you did this? You produced this? And I'm like, yeah, it's what I do, And
Yeah.
he's like, okay. So I think that sparked some interest. And he saw, going back to, you had asked if when people see things about you and you don't realize,
Yeah.
that was exactly what had happened with Mo and myself.
Yeah.
He saw me be able to do X, Y, and Z. And at that time, V School needed that. And they see a vision for that and to build more and more in that aspect. And so, yeah, he and Zaro reached out and had said, hey, here's an opportunity. They told me all about V School. I immediately just fell in love with their mission.
Mhm.
Truly, it's such a cool
Yeah.
place.
Maybe talk a little bit about V School. What is that mission? What is V School doing? I think lots of people do know, but probably don't know as well as they should.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Little plugs here and there for all
Yeah.
the places I've been.
Yeah.
V School, we are a vocational mastery-based school. So that means you sign up for one of our programs and it's mastery-based. And so depending on how quickly you learn and get the concept, you move on to the next level. So we teach 3 programs. We have web development, user design experience, and then we just recently brought on cybersecurity. So
Okay.
all of our courses are online. And before COVID, they actually had a space downtown. They had housing. They had beds. And so
Really?
people from, across the U.S. would apply, and they'd come out here and plow through the program and then be able to land a job with a really great company and truly go change the lives of their family.
Yeah.
And so that's knowing that, and that's what they do in their mission. They invited me to a rooftop party. I think they called it campfire at the time. And so it was during like my scoping out and figuring out what I want to do phase. And so I went up, and it was incredible. It was such a cool vibe, such great energy. I was able to meet current students, alumni, people who are advisors to them. And they had, I think, Don Day. So Riley was there on a
Okay.
panel, and I've known Riley. And so it was really good to see her and their partnership. And then they ended with this presentation. I always cry when I talk about this. A single mom who's a veteran. And they presented her and her son with a life-size check for a full ride scholarship to
Wow.
B school. So for me to witness that and to know that's what I would be doing every day,
Yeah.
sign me up.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
That's so cool.
V School now is known as a place that throws great parties and events. They clearly were doing something right before you showed up.
Yeah.
But why, they are a smaller organization. Why, what about your skill set was going to make their world better? How are you going to help them sell more? How are you going to help them grow the V School brand?
That's a good question. I don't know how to answer that really, but
Yeah.
I think Mo and I have this really amazing work relationship where he has these fantastic ideas. I can help enhance those ideas, and then we execute. And V School is really large and really big in community.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
creating space, with music and art and tech and bringing it all in one spot. They're really just fantastic about doing that.
Whose
So,
idea was it to bring the snakes to that bar party?
so for Utah Tech Week,
Yeah. Yeah.
the opening party,
Yeah.
Mo,
Yeah. Okay.
that legit was
Okay.
like 3 hours before
Yeah.
it happened. We're like, we need something to spice that
Yeah.
up. So
you walked in and I was like, okay, this is a party. right.
that was fun.
Yeah.
That was a fun cherry on top. So
I'd love to hear about the launch of Neon Rodeo and what that project is and how V School and you were involved in that and what sort of the future of Neon Rodeo is.
oh my gosh, I love this passion project. It
Yeah.
is so awesome. So through V School, this is so 2024 will be the 4th year since my involvement. There was 1 year previous to that. It started with the University of Utah.
Okay.
Well, actually, let me back up. It is a white paper.
Yeah.
So our partner Grant Barth created a white paper with Intel, and they said, "Hey, go prove that out." And so Grant contacted the University of Utah multiple disciplinary design
Okay.
program. It's a tongue twister. And that senior class had a theme house. And so I believe it was 2021, right after COVID, those students partnered up with FICE and they brought in Jesse Walker and they created a house party, which just blew up. But they utilized all of the aspects of that white paper to be a success.
Okay.
And so the next year, they're like, let's get some other people involved. Like, let's reach out to the community. And they really wanted someone in education and tech. And so they're like, hey, let's call up V School. So Mo said, hey, we're going to Kiln for a party. I'm like, what? Okay, whatever, let's go. We get there, there's no party. But there was a misunderstanding of like what the meeting was because it was Jesse Walker, all of these DJs, people that we don't know. So we're like, yeah, what's going on? Come to find out, it's like the opening meeting for Neon Rodeo. At that time, it was Neon Desert. And just a planning meeting to getting minds together. They shared the concept and asked V School to be the education arm. And so, which that means bringing on, speakers and panels and curating an education part off of the music, the house.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we worked with each year we work with a sister city. We brought in DJs from those cities to highlight them, and then also pair uh like what am I trying to say? Bringing out people in Salt Lake,
Yeah.
artists and creatives as well. So creating
Yeah.
a space for them to come experience certain things and listen to the panels. And so the year that Mo and I came on, we did it at UMOCA. We had fantastic panels. We brought in so many cool people. The community's response was just like ecstatic.
Yeah.
And it's just been growing and growing. And so we are just trying to carve out our path
And
and
so
figure
what
out.
is the mission of Neon Rodeo?
Good question.
Man, that's such a good question. The mission of Neon Rodeo is to create creative space, but also to give opportunity to those who aren't in reach of. So, for example, the panels, we're bringing in instructors from art institutes from San Francisco.
Mhm.
We're bringing in artists from this place. We're touching and bringing in people from Salt Lake and putting them in a room where our attendees and our friends can come listen and learn and have an opportunity to carry on that conversation afterwards.
Mm.
Where other festivals don't, South by Southwest has the education arm and all of that, but ours is a smaller scale, it's more intimate.
Yeah.
And just let opportunities happen as they come. But we want to present those opportunities to the community.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah.
Where do you see the future of events going? We talked a little bit earlier on before we started recording about, an offline and online type of event. Where do you see events going in this new world of online, offline type of milieu?
I mean, I think events everyone wants to have something to go to or
Yeah.
something to look forward to.
Mhm.
And I think we're still in that phase of people coming out,
Mm-hmm.
from the pandemic
Yeah.
and really realizing the lack of that personal connection and being in a room with people. I still have people say, well, this is maybe the second or third event that I've come to because they just haven't been out.
Yeah.
Um, but I think events are just so important. It's community building. It's,
Yeah.
maintaining relationships. It's creating space for people to just come be whatever industry you're in.
Yeah.
And how does that come kind of full circle to marketing? How do you see them as connected or related, or why events for V School? I'm sure they do other forms of marketing too.
We do. We do.
I get your great emails. Your
Yeah.
great
Oh, thank you.
newsletters. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll let my team know.
Yeah.
The team know.
Yeah.
I think we're also going through a learning phase because we did scale back of not doing events at V School. And then, we've had a little here and there, but for 2024, we're really focusing on events and bringing out the community. I think with V School in particular, it's such they've built up such a reputation for community
Yeah.
and collaboration and just creating space for all walks of life.
Yeah.
It would be really unfortunate and sad if we didn't have the events online or in person. So we're really shifting it and putting more energy into creating online and more in-person
Mhm.
events
Hmm.
to curate for our audience or the programs that we have that we offer, and letting people see what V School is like. The curriculum and everything is online, but also having an in-person experience helps kind of seal the deal of, oh, you can be online, but you can also have this amazing community.
Yeah.
Like a lot of our reviews are the V School family or the V School community,
Yeah.
whether it is online or here in Salt Lake, that, we've created this family and community here.
Yeah. That's cool.
What I've been to a lot of terrible online events. Can you give me an idea of like a way that people should think about creating a great online event? Is there any way that you can make the world better by making better online events?
It's really the content,
Okay.
obviously,
Yeah.
has to be intriguing and stellar. I think in creation of events, whether online or in person, telling a story and having a purpose, but having it relatable and knowing your audience. So
Yeah.
if it's online, for example, we have a webinar coming up in a couple weeks, and it's called Our Friends Are Your Friends. So we partner with VSOs. So we have a couple that'll come on, and they'll talk about all of the services that they can provide for vets.
Right.
So I think really fine-tuning the message and very specific
Yeah.
is helpful for the attendee or the end user. You may only have 3 or 4 people in your meeting or
Yeah.
in your event, but who's to say that what they hear and the information they get from that isn't going to change or help them
Yeah.
benefit in whatever way.
Yeah.
It's hard. Events are hard. Capturing the ROI with that
Yeah.
is really hard in events. But I've learned, you really you can't rely on that, because if you do, then we wouldn't have it.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have events. We wouldn't continue, doing what we do. But
Yeah.
Well, we kind of like to end with a general idea or tip that maybe you might like to share with our Silicon Slopes audience.
yeah.
Any thoughts on like what you'd like to bestow upon us?
Oh my gosh. I think that's a great question.
Something that you've learned
Yeah.
or just something, a takeaway that
Probably my takeaway for me that I've learned just throughout my career and personal life is I'm an internal optimist, and I'm always looking for opportunity. But in the workplace and at home, life's hard. Like it
Yeah.
really is. Everyone is struggling with something, and it's so easy just to be like, ugh, But just trying to have a positive outlook on everything and see if something doesn't go right, if this event didn't execute as well, or if this fell through, like what's the lesson learned? You
Yeah.
have to look
Mhm.
back at it and say, that was a crapshoot, but we learned X, Y, and Z, or whatever the scenario is.
Yeah.
But then that's only going to help you become better as you do the next one and the
Yeah.
next one.
Okay.
And just always be open to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that.
All right. Last question. Give the people some places to go eat or drink or get a cup of coffee. Where should people be checking out?
I don't know if I want to share that because I don't want everybody to go to.
Don't share the
I know.
secret places, but share the places that people that we need to like uplift the great restaurateurs
Okay.
around here.
So these are older places.
Great.
There's 2. Well,
Okay.
one's not. The first one, it's called Italian Village.
Oh, where's that?
It's a little mom and pop. It's been around for 40 plus years.
Oh my goodness.
I've been going there with my
Where is it?
family. It's in Murray.
Okay.
It's on 9th East in I don't know. We can drop in the location or something in the notes
Yeah.
after, right?
Yeah.
So Italian Village, a pizza bender. It's like a calzone, but better.
Okay.
It is amazing. In fact, my family's going there tonight.
Okay. What is your go-to? Give me a recommended order when I show up there.
I don't even look at the menu. You just get a pizza bender.
You just say I need a pizza bender.
Keep a pizza bender and sauce. And so the traditional pizza bender is pepperoni, ham, and sausage and
goodness.
cheese. Then they have a sauce that you dip it in. And you can get a combo. You can get the salad with it. Their house dressing is amazing.
Oh
It's
my
literally
goodness.
like a cute grandma in the back or something. cooking.
Yeah.
But I've
Oh
been
my
going there
goodness.
for years.
Oh
And
my
their
God.
their garlic bread, you guys. Oh,
Oh, this is
Really?
so
Oh,
good
I'm so
information.
excited.
You need
I'm
to
like,
go.
also
Okay.
my mouth is watering.
Yeah. Okay. Italian Village.
Italian
All right.
Village.
Where else?
And the other place, the best cheeseburger that I
Oh.
love cheeseburgers. Brick's Corner.
Oh,
The
That's-
cheeseburger there.
Yes.
we just went there for the first time.
It's a cool place, awesome vibe, and they have the
The deep dish
Detroit,
pizza,
the
yeah.
Detroit
Yeah.
pizza. No.
Oh, Detroit pizza. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you've got to get the cheeseburger.
Okay.
I'm
Like I
obsessed with
literally,
Detroit pizza.
my mouth starts to water when you think about it.
Oh my goodness.
And their tater tots.
I did.
We've
I
had those.
did. I did have the tater tots. and
They're
they
But
were
I
really
wouldn't have
good.
thought to order the burger, so that is a
You
really
have
great
to
tip.
Get the cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Great.
Oh man,
Yeah, those two are my top.
Good.
I'm
Thank you.
obsessed with burgers, so this is great. Well, thank you so much for being
Thanks
here.
for having
and,
me, you
Yeah,
guys.
thank
You know,
you.
I appreciate
it's, thanks for all the work you do around the world.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see you
Right back
around
at
the
ya.
shop.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
See ya.
Thank you for joining us today on this episode of By Subject Podcast. If you have any guest recommendations or other comments, you can send them to us at info@bysubjectpodcast.com. By Subject Podcast is a production of Modern 8, an agency in partnership with Silicon Slopes and Mountain West Capital Network. Audio production by Dave Meekum. Video production by Connor Mitchell. And the music by the insanely talented Josh Johnston. If you need any place to eat, or if you need any of our old interviews, you can find that all on our website at bysubjectpodcast.com.